Hey, it's your host, Nye, and welcome back to I Write Christian. Um, I just wanted to record this episode while I had it on my mind. Um, if you're really anybody, to be honest, but for some reason, it's easier to give people advice than it is to give yourself advice. And then when you pick up on the fact, or like I picked up on the fact that I give pretty good advice, like out of nowhere, but I don't have that same advice for myself. I know a lot of people relate to this, and it's so aggravating because deep down, you like know what can help other people and yourself, and you help other people, but it just doesn't come up for you. And it's just so weird and it's so aggravating. And one of the things I've realized is like a lot of times when I'm going through something, I know exactly what would help, but I don't know. Well, I don't always know how to do whatever it is or believe whatever it is or act based on knowing whatever it is, but it's there. Like, it's there. And I don't always talk about it, but the way that I sense it and the way that it comes up, I would say, like, my higher self knows more than I do, basically. My higher self knows more than I do. And, like, I'm just there with all this wisdom, advice, and everything. And I'm ready to just pour it out and give it to other people, but I can't give it to myself. And it's so annoying. But one of the good things about it is that it's in me and it's mine. Earlier today, what was I going through? I don't even remember. I don't remember. But one thing, like, I was like, you know what? What would I tell myself? Like, if I was somebody else, what advice would I give me? And whatever was going on, the advice was just, I'm trying, and there's no reason to be afraid of something like that and to just do it. I think earlier today I was working on my Instagram. Um Even though I have recorded a few episodes and posted a few things on TikTok, I haven't revamped my Instagram. Like, I had some stuff up already, but I decided to just start fresh with everything. Um, and what I worked on today was my welcome post. Excuse me. Today I worked on my welcome post, and I was just trying to figure out, like, you know, how to word everything so that way I could properly and accurately, like, explain what it is that I'm going to be doing, why I'm here, all that. And I was just stressing about it. I was like, "Oh my gosh." Because one of the things that I was thinking was, like, one of the things I was thinking was basically, like, in my head, I'm like, "I don't know." Like, I don't know. Like, I know what my intentions are, but at the end of the day, like, it feels like I'm supposed to know what every single episode is gonna be, what every single blog post is gonna be, what every single thing I post on Instagram or TikTok, what every single thing is gonna be. And I need to be able to communicate that in this one caption. And literally, I don't know. Like, I know my intentions. I already have some ideas for what it is that I wanna do. So I included those things, but I still don't know. Like, I literally don't know. And I'm just sitting here like stressed, like I'm trying to figure it out. Like, okay, what would I tell myself if I was somebody else coming to me with this problem? And I've only did this like twice, maybe 3 times before in my life. Because a lot of times I feel like, well, not feel, but I'm just stubborn. And even if I do have what I need to help myself, sometimes I just won't do it. Um, yeah, that's just me struggling with being stubborn. But I was like, well, what advice would I give myself if I was somebody else coming to me with this problem? And I was like, well, just do the best you can, do what you know, and don't stress about it. And then I brought up the fact like right now, I have 0 followers on Instagram. People are going to see it, but no one's going to see this. And, or at least not enough people will see it for me to care, I guess. Like, so a lot of what I was feeling was anxiety. And it feels like everybody in the whole world or everyone with the Instagram account is just going to see me struggle with basically nothing. And so I just had to remind myself, like, no one's going to see this. Like, not that many people are going to see this. People are going to see it, but not that many people. And I was just like, okay. And then I was like, well, it doesn't even matter, honestly, because it's mine. Like, I'm saying what I need to say, I'm doing what I want to do, and it's mine. It doesn't really matter, or it's unnecessary for me to think about other people in the first place. But even if I know that, I still have those thoughts. Like, sometimes my anxiety does get the best of me. But I was just like, well, what advice would I give myself if I was somebody else? So I gave myself that advice and I felt sure. I felt better. And I recognize myself as being somebody who can give advice that helps because I can give some advice, you know? So I was like, I said, I was like, I need to do this more often. I need to give myself advice. I need to take my own advice. And I just started reminiscing over the many things that I've been through that I've helped other people through or given other people advice for. But while I'm going through that, I'm struggling because I just won't take my own advice. And it doesn't occur to me to give myself advice because it's weird. Okay, it's not weird, but basically, I have to be okay with talking to myself and like, what is it, the third or whatever person that is. And so it's not the first thing that comes to my mind, but it is a good idea. And so if it's going to help me in that way, then I would do it. But it's just a simple fact that it's not the first thing that comes to mind, so I don't do it. But it's helpful when I do think about it. So I should try to do that. I should try to do that. Because a lot of times just remembering stuff doesn't really help me. Like a lot of things I know. Like in my previous episode, I was saying like, I know the truth about God, but I'm still feeling the way I feel. And even though that's accurate and like valid in some situations I don't or can't help myself out of, even though I know the truth about it. Like, and then the truth about it at times be like if I heard it out loud, which is why I definitely do recommend reading the Bible out loud. If I heard it out loud, it would actually help, but I don't say it out loud. It's just there. So I just stay where I am. And I don't know what kind of person that makes me, or really what that means for myself yet. But I do struggle with positive self talk, um, and just overall being able to be there for myself. And I don't want to say love myself, but in some areas, love myself enough to try to do what will help me even though it's weird, like talking to myself. And I don't wanna say it's weird because I don't wanna be discouraging to anybody, but if it helps you, and I don't wanna say if it helps you, do it, but if it helps you and it doesn't hurt you, then do it and, like, give it a shot. So, I don't know. That's just what I wanted to talk about. It was just annoying. And to be honest, like, currently, I am going through needing to do that for myself right now, and the reason why I'm recording is because I'm kind of doing that. Like, I'm kind of doing that. Like, the advice I would give to myself, because I definitely was hesitating on recording, but the advice I would give to myself is just, you know, I'm reminding myself that this is what my podcast is for. This is what my blog is for. This is what my work and my art is for. And I have to remind myself of that sometimes because the way I am is like I get anxious, I feel afraid, and sometimes I feel like who am I, right? But then I have my higher self, which I do know at times is also pairing with God. I created this podcast. This is mine. This is where I share my voice. There's no need to be anxious or afraid of other people because this is mine. I can be a little anxious in somebody else's comments, even though I very rarely am. But here in my space, this is my space. And this is where I do and talk about whatever it is that I want. And then I'm also thinking, like, well, how does this relate to anybody else? How does this relate on a Christian level? Because, like I said, this is I Write Christian, and there's a lot of reasons why I chose that name. But what it is just space, like real, true space to be myself and to be there for other people. And I feel like sometimes, not even I feel like, but I know sometimes I get trapped in the box of Christian. And I feel like if it's not Christian related, I probably shouldn't say it, but I forget why I started this in the first place and why it was necessary. And so, even though it's not completely about God or completely, I don't know, because I don't even like saying stuff like that. I believe and I know that God is in everything. And even though I'm not speaking on a biblical subject, it's still biblical. Like my experience is biblical. My feelings and my emotions are biblical because the Bible is real life and this is real life. And I am someone real, just like the people in the Bible, who is walking alongside God with these struggles. But guess what? I'm not David. I'm not Job. I'm not Noah. I'm not Rachel. I'm not none of those people. I'm me. Okay. So it's biblical, but it's not someone else's story. And it's not supposed to be. But regardless, doing this is helpful and it is relatable because as Christians, you do want to find a way. If you're like me, you get anxious, you don't really like being in front of the camera, you're a little shy, reserved, and you just don't like all the energy that comes with being so out and open in the way that your face is always somewhere. Um, you know, and sometimes you just need advice or motivation or to see other people struggle with while they're doing the same thing that you want to do, and you know them possibly being able to encourage you to do what it is that you need to do. So it's like, well, how can anyone relate to this? Well, someone, God is calling someone else to start a podcast, to write, to create art and to put themselves out there, and they're struggling with the same things that I'm struggling with, or the same things that come up in my life are coming up in their life. And, even though I don't have the answer, because I'm gonna tell you, the answer is God. But even though I don't have the answer, the step by step, even if I gave you mine, it might be different for you. Just hearing somebody else talk about their experience and basically sharing their testimony could help you in a lot of ways and stuff. So it does relate. And, you know, like I said, that's what this space is. It's for being real. It's for being open and honest and, not having to be so, I don't know, like peachy. Like, just, you don't have to be perfect. Like, I'm not perfect. I don't have to be perfect. And, I really can't even get on here and pretend that I'm perfect. And I feel like I need to remember that this is a space where I'm not perfect. And the fact that I don't want to get on here and be any other way, like, I won't post because I know that I'll be pretending. And I just like I don't want to pretend. So I have to continuously remember that when I'm feeling something and I'm going through something, yes, spend time with God, and even yes, spend time alone. But when I'm going through something and I'm having an experience, a lot of times people share that with me. So, I can find a relief and like sense of community and just being able to hear myself out loud talk and speak through things. I can do that by even in my feelings coming on here and saying whatever it is that I need to say and whatever it is that I need to feel. Because something else I've also been wanting to communicate is like, just because I'm upset or just because I'm angry or just because I'm having a feeling that might keep me from taking a step, it doesn't mean that everything I've learned and went through, all my wisdom, it doesn't go away. Like, it doesn't go away. So, and I'm the kind of person where, regardless of how I feel, if I believe it and in my life it's true, I'm still going to say that. Like, what I know to be true doesn't change because of how I feel, unless I'm speaking from a place of emotion, which isn't always true because I'm like speaking out of emotion. But like the things that are true that stay regardless of how I feel, then those are the things that, I still have in me to share. I just need to get my emotions under control so that way I can actually speak from a sound place, even though I feel the way I do. Um, and, that's not always the case, but sometimes it's the case. And just like in my previous episode, I said, I don't want to come here to vent. Venting is me letting out what I feel while I'm feeling, and I don't want to do that. I'm okay with feeling how I feel and coming here maturely to express myself and the things that I'm thinking and so forth and so on. So, you know, um, for the most part, that was really it. That was really it. I just was sitting here. Well, I was in my room actually. And I'm just like, why the uh, why can't I take my own advice? Why don't I just take my own advice? I need to give myself advice. Like, I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I got so much wisdom and I don't give any of it to myself. I'm just up and ready to give it to everybody else, but I just don't give it to myself. And, you know, one way that I've learned to be is to be okay with where I am right now. So this next thing is right now I can only hope and pray that God has enough grace for me to learn how to do that for myself. Like, and I know his grace is sufficient, but with a lot of things, it feels like it's not. And that's why I said what I said, because I want to be honest about where I am right now in my life. And right now, it's just a hope and a prayer for this area of my life for his grace to be enough for me, because I feel like I don't do a lot of things, or I'm hindered by my lack of being able to follow my own advice and give myself advice. And I feel like it keeps me stagnant in a lot of areas of my life and with a lot of things. And I feel like and everything happens for a reason, and God allows things to happen for certain reasons, but it doesn't change the fact that my inability to follow my own advice, it doesn't change the fact that it um delays certain things. And I'm the kind of person where I don't believe that anything that God has planned for my life is truly delayed. Because things will happen when he wants them to at the end of the day. Like, his it being his timing is not just a phrase. So I do not like to say or hear that anything God has for me can be delayed. But in the sense that, I could have a hope for him to bring about in my life, that I am constantly pulling myself from working towards in the way that I can, because of my inability to follow my own advice, to where I just end up sitting and I'm waiting, you know, because I don't know how to do that, or because I'm being stubborn and things like that. You know, and it doesn't mean that God isn't working at all, but he's allowing me to go through witnessing the way that I am with myself, because he knows that he's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to do what he has to do in my life. And a part of that is allowing me to feel delayed and watch myself, because in these moments, I'm listening to what I'm saying to myself. I'm watching what it is that I'm believing. Noticing the things like taking my own advice that help me. And so I'm not really big on Christian vocabulary, but this season that I'm in, whatever it is, whatever it's called, I know that right now his purpose for this area in my life, because it's not just taking my own advice, his purpose for this area in my life is to just, watch myself and pay attention to my words, and like I said, how I'm affecting myself, and then what things help me take the steps that I need to take as a person, because I did not have, you know, proper emotional regulation, or I wasn't really encouraged to do the things that I like to do, just the things that people thought that I was good at, so they figured I should keep doing that. But I wasn't really encouraged to do what I like to do. I just wasn't encouraged to want to do something and put my all into it, or want to do something and do it. So I'm learning to, you know, have him be there for me doing that, but also I'm watching him show me that it's okay for me to want to get up, paint, go get all my supplies and do it. Like, I don't need permission to do something I like to do. Because a lot of times I be tripping over some small stuff. Like, I be tripping over stuff like that. And so, it's just a whole thing. It's just a whole thing. So, you know, I guess that's where I am right now. that's just where I am right now. Um, this wasn't gonna be too long. Just me talking, just me saying stuff. Um, yeah. Um, I don't know when people will start to listen and things, but if you ever come back to this episode or whatever, you should be able to comment, or you can comment anywhere really. Something I do want to do. I just felt like I didn't have much of an audience to do it for, but I'm definitely willing to be with people and be alongside people while they figure out how to do certain things. Like, I'm a writer and I have a podcast, one, because I like to talk, and two, because some stuff you just have to say. So if you would be interested in knowing how to set up a podcast, or make your website for your blog, and your social media and things, I'm willing to do that. And it's possible that I just do it anyway, and let people be interested in it if they are. But if I haven't done that already and you listen to this after like some time, then just hit me up. I will definitely be interested in doing something like that. Plus I'm still learning like some of the ins and outs myself. Um, and it's all just a part of the journey. I had to remind myself of that the other day while I'm trying to figure out how to work a freaking what is this? I don't know. I use GarageBand, and it's some kind of like turn switch thingy that you gotta use to equalize your voice and stuff like that. So I'm learning how to do that, and I'm like, well, you know, one of these days I'm gonna have to know exactly what's going on. So I gotta like be willing to embrace the process of learning and figuring out what that is. You might not believe me, but I have my blog the way that I want it. I have everything the way that I want it because it's what I prefer when I'm looking at other stuff. So I just kind of did what I prefer, something simple, something sleek. But I've made like five different websites before that one. But those five helped me know, one, what I want to do for this last official one, and then just be able to do things more easier. So I've done the same with my podcast. I've done the same with a lot of different things. So I don't mind taking everything I've learned and sharing it with other people, giving it to other people. It's simple stuff, nothing to pay for. I just need to know that people are interested in it, but I probably do it anyway. Um, yeah, I keep like knocking on my desk. There is one part I have to go edit out, and I'm gonna have to do that before y'all hear me clicking. um, but yeah, that's it for the most part. That's all I got right now. Um, thank you for listening. You can visit my blog, iWriteChristian.com, and make sure you put the HTTPS for security. What is it? Colon, backslash, backslash. And then my Instagram is iWriteChristian. And you can either go there to find the links to my other socials, or you can just visit the description on Spotify and YouTube, because this will also be uploaded on YouTube. Um, Again, I'm your host, Nye. Thank you for listening. Until next time.